Welcome to Boat Buyer's Secret Weapons Series. I'm your host, Captain Matt, and today we're talking pontoons. We're talking the best and the worst pontoons that are on the market today. I'll tell you what I did. I went to the Greenville Boat Show back in March of 2021, and I spent 10 hours and I inspected only pontoons. I looked at every single pontoon that was at the show. I'll show you here some of the pictures I took. So I went through all of the pontoons, looked at the hardware, looked at the construction. You can see under the boats. I looked at the fencing. I looked at the helms. I looked at how they did their tunes and their engine mounts. I looked at the pricing stickers. I looked at the wiring. I inspected everything on every pontoon that was at the show. You can see all these pictures coming up. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you my take on the best, the worst, the good, the bad, and everything in between. And these pictures just keep on going and going. I even took videos of some of them so that I can share them with you over time. But the images just keep on coming. So that's what I've done. Now, what I want to start with is I want to give you just a basic understanding of how pontoons are built. So as I talk about different things, you kind of understand what I'm talking about. So the pontoons start with the pontoons, then they lay the cross members on. The cross members are these beams right here. They use a little bracket to bolt those on weld the brackets on and then bolt the cross members onto the tubes. And then from there, they go ahead and lay the flooring. Now, for most pontoon manufacturers, that's marine grade plywood, which is different than green treated plywood. It's different than regular plywood. It has lifetime warranties. People have been using it for decades and they haven't had problems. With that said, there are two manufacturers, Veranda, that does a different system. They lay their tubes and then they actually weld their patented interlocking aluminum channels across the tubes, and that's the structure and the deck of their boat. Berkshire, South Bay, and Trifecta, who are all Berkshire companies, Berkshire Hathaway, Forest River is the manufacturer that they fall under. They have started using in 2020, I believe. In 2021, they're all using it, a composite decking that was started in the RV world, and they're the first ones to bring it into the marine application. And I note those two distinctions because everybody else does it the same. Those two manufacturers, 4 brands, but 2 manufacturers have a little different approach. Then you put on the fencing. The fencing can be a cheaper fencing where you've got the fencing comes up a ways and then you've got just air and the rails come up a little higher so it's safe. To the fencing goes all the way up to the top of the rails, and those heights can vary from top to bottom. There. Less material saves you price. And then the furniture is added. The furniture can be real basic. Hey, just your rotocast molding, some seating, not much stitching, single stitched, and you're off to the races. Or it can be an elaborate piping and double stitching and cross stitching and different materials and different levels of foam in the cushions, contours to the seats. And then you have your flooring. Actually, the flooring is laid down first and then the furniture. But your flooring can be anywhere from the basic vinyl, which is kind of taken over the base level from the carpet that you used to find, to the seagrass flooring, to the faux teak material that you're seeing a lot of times. And then you have the hardware. The hardware, you're going to see anywhere from smaller tubing on your bimini tops to larger tubing with some contours in it, which is going to give it strength. You've got your Sunbrella, which is kind of the industry leader in the marine world application for canvas, to your inexpensive canvas. And then you have the hardware on the bimini tops, a quick release. The Harris and the Brunswick company use these over here, or a plastic release. which is used by a bunch of manufacturers as well. Something very interesting that I discovered when I was going through all the pontoons, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit. So overall, I found 41 pontoon manufacturers. Now, I didn't inspect all 41 manufacturers. They weren't all at the show. I'll notate which ones I inspected, which ones I didn't. But based on my experience, based on my previous inspection of some models that weren't at the show, I'm going to give you my take, and I'm going to rate all of these. So if you stick around to the end, I'm going to rate them, and then I'm also going to give you some advice on if you're buying new and some advice if you're buying used. So if you are looking to buy a pontoon, make sure you grab that Boat Buyer's Secret Weapon Toolkit. You can get it at boatbuyerstoolkit.com, boatbuyerssecretweapon.com/toolkit. They'll take you to the same place. You can grab that for free. So let's take a look at another way to look at all these manufacturers. You've got 41 manufacturers, but you have several brands that are owned by the same company. So you've got Brunswick, which owns actually 6 brands: Crestliner, Princecraft, Cypress K, Harris, Lowe, Lund. You've got Godfrey that has 3 brands: Sandpan, Sweetwater, Aqua Patio, and now they're building under just Godfrey. I think it's Sandpan by Godfrey, and they have the Godfrey moniker on all of their boats. Forest River has 3 brands. All 3 brands are nearly identical. I would be, if you took the moniker off, you'd be hard pressed to tell which was which. SmokerCraft has several brands, and White River has a couple of brands, and you also have the dealer OEM relationship, which is White River, which White River is Bass Pro Shop Cabela's. So Bass Pro Shop, or White River is the parent company, but they own Bass Pro Shop and Cabela's, and they offer Sun Tracker, Ranger, Regency, which they also own through those distribution channels. Now, they also have some other dealers. They've got Tracker dealers that offer the Tracker lines that are private independent dealers, but a big portion of their distribution is through their, it's not factory owned stores, but they're all owned by the same company. Now, Factory Direct and Boat and RV owns the Lexington brand, and they are the owner that owns Factory Direct and Boat and RV also bought Lexington. I'm not sure that he's 100% owner, but they do the Factory Direct, and I'll give you the ranking of where they all fall and some of my experiences there. So you'll see in the yellow, those are kind of the big players the way I see it, as far as the number of boats that they build. They're kind of the big guys in the industry, okay? Now, doesn't make it good, doesn't make it bad. You'll see that some of my top brands are independently owned, and some of the bigger brands are what I call the value brands. So let's go ahead and take a look at which ones I did inspect. So Avalon Tahoe were there. Avalon Tahoe, different brands, almost identical boats. Same thing with the Forest River. Barletta, Bentley, Landau wasn't there. Legend wasn't there. They're a Canadian-built brand. Massimo Marine, they build one-size boat. They're an ATV player that just got into the marine industry, I guess, for their dealers in the power sports segment, but they were not there. The Viaggio, I'm not sure how you say that, but Misty Harbor has rebranded themselves. They were not there. Montera was not there. That's a surf boat. We'll talk about that. Playcraft is a specialty brand. Pond King's a specialty brand. We're not there. Premier was there. Montego Bay was not. Quest was there. Silver Wave was there. Veranda was there. Manitou was there. No Crestliner. The Brunswick was Harris, Lowe, and Cypress K. No Coach. I was hoping that Coach would be there, but they weren't. I haven't inspected them for a long time. Godfrey was there. Crest was there. All of the Forest River products were there. Bennington was there. SmokerCraft was there with Sylvan. Not sure about StarCraft. Suncatcher was there, but I don't believe Sunchaser was there. Tracker was there, Ranger was there, Regency was there, and no Lexington. So most of them I did inspect. So let me give you my what I call the luxury brand. These are the ones that, when they're building the chassis of the boat, are using bigger, heavier duty material, better practices, better welds, better furniture, higher grade upholstery. Everything that they're doing is bigger, thicker, heavier, nicer, more durable. Okay, so my luxury brands in Barletta was by far the best. If you watch the video I just released about Barletta, I think they are the best pontoon manufacturer on the market today. Manitou is a close second. I was really impressed with the layouts, with the upholstery, with the construction. They did a great job. Bennington, one of the biggest names in pontoons, owned by Polaris now. So we'll see if they continue up with the high level of construction, or if there's any changes, which sometimes happens with new owners. Harris has been owned by Brunswick for a long time. They do a great job. Premier, I thought Premier had the nicest feeling upholstery at the whole boat show. It was just soft and supple and comfy. Now the durability, we'll see, but it was super comfortable upholstery and furniture. Crest did a really nice job since they were purchased. Avalon Tahoe does a great job, and the Godfrey line with their aqua patio was, I don't believe Sandpan was there. They didn't have a Sandpan, but the aqua patio was great. Now, the luxury brands mean that this is going to be, and they've got tiers, right? So they've got their high, middle, and low in the models that they have, but their top of the line boats in the top of the line category, you can't go wrong with any of these manufacturers. Now, they all have kind of a mid-tier or a value model. So Barletta has their C-Class now. Bennington has the S and the SX series. Harris has the Cruise. Premier has the Sunspree and the Sensation. Crest has the Classic. Manitou has the Aurora. And Godfrey has the Sweetwater. So they do some things different on these models. So if you look at the construction of the Harris and the Bennington on their Crown and the Q series, and then you look at the SX and the S and the Cruise, you'll see some different construction things. So if you look at some of the value models in the luxury brands, understand that you're going to be able to say you got a Bennington or a Barletta or a Premier or a Manitou, but when you actually are on the boat, you can tell the difference. So just pay attention to that. If you see this is cheaper than I thought it was going to be, make sure you double check what model you're looking at. Go to the website and see, are they using value kind of words, or are they using luxury kind of words, and that'll tell you where you priced, and also the pricing sticker will give you the same. The mid-tier. Now, like I said, some of these I didn't inspect, and I am going just by my research online and what I know about them. Landau and Legend. I've never been on either of those two boats, but what I see online, they're mid-tier brands. Cypress K, Princecraft, Crestliner, Lowe, Lund. Now, on the Brunswick products, I think they're more regional players, and they're playing off some of the fishing with the Crestliner and the Lowe and the Lund. Now, they have pleasure craft pontoons, but I see that Harris is kind of their big pontoon line for the luxury, and then everything else is in that middle tier, a little bit more fishing focused on some of their boats. Cypress K is basically a Harris Cruise branded Cypress K. White River, which is the Bass Pro brands, Ranger and Regency, are in that mid-tier. Silver Wave, I was really impressed with the Silver Wave and the price on that. I thought that was a really good value boat. The Forest River boats, the South Bay, the Trifecta, and the Berkshire, I put them in the mid-tier. They were really nice boats. and my family owns the South Bay. So, but I didn't think they were quite to the standards of that luxury level. But they're definitely in the higher end of the mid-tier. The SmokerCraft, StarCraft, Sylvan, Sun Chaser, all nice boats. That Sun Chaser should probably be in the value model. I can kind of catching that now. Sun Catcher is owned by Yamaha. They used to be branded G3, and they're in the mid-tier. Sweetwater is that Godfrey brand that's in the mid-tier. Veranda, I put Veranda in the mid-tier because of their appointments. They've been building that aluminum base for 20 years now. I always have my question of, is that going to last? But, from some of the older verandas that you see, it looks like it is. But the way they build their boats, the appointments, the details, they didn't quite get to that mid-tier. Coach is one that I've been on a Coach, but it's been years. They're probably on the higher end of the mid-tier for the ones I've seen. And the Excursion by Coach are mid-tier as well. Value brands, the Bentley, the Lexington, which I've been on a Lexington, they just weren't at the show. The Misty Harbor, Montego Bay, Quest, and Sun Tracker are all going to be, hey, they're built to hit a price point, to have entry-level boats, to have value boats for people to get in, that they can enjoy the boating lifestyle, but they may not have the lighted cup holders, the LED lights, the seats are a little bit smaller, the foam's a little less thick, the fencing doesn't come up as high, the structure of the boat isn't as rigid. It's just, but here's what I'll say. From all of the boats that I inspected, I didn't find any that I was like, oh my God, I hope nobody ever buys this boat. I think we're really past that with the manufacturing techniques that are out there, the specialization in material. There was really nothing that said, oh my God, this is awful, stay away from it. So that's my take on the brands, but I still have some more advice for you here. But I would love to hear, hey, what boats have you actually owned, the year and the make of the boat, and give us your opinion. What did I get right? What did I get wrong? Is there maybe a boat that I didn't have the opportunity to inspect that you think should be raised up a little bit? But I would love to hear from people that actually own some of these boats to give me their takes. Now, there's some specialty brands on that list as well. The Montera, they specialize in a wake surfing boat. So it is designed to be a pontoon surf boat. They don't make very many of them. They're new to the market, but it's an interesting thing. Avalon Tahoe has their version, but that's a specialty brand, so I didn't rank them. Playcraft. Playcraft is all about speed. They're made at the Lake of the Ozarks, where they do the Lake of the Ozarks shootout, which is an awesome race. If you ever have the chance to go, it's between Kansas City and St. Louis. The Lake of the Ozarks is an awesome lake. I've been going there since I was a kid. But the Lake of the Ozarks shootout is a great time and worth the trip. Pond King, they build very small, 14, 16-foot, even smaller pontoons that you put on your pond at the farm, not made for big lakes. And then Massimo Marine, I mentioned them. One model, they do build pontoons, but they've got one model, one size, and it looks like they just offer it through their power sports dealer network. So those I don't really have a whole lot of input on. I've been on a Playcraft. They're nice, but I haven't been on the other ones, but they're built for speed. So here's my advice to you. If you're buying a new pontoon, here would be my recommendation. Choose the right tier. Am I a luxury person? Am I kind of a middle of the road? I want to get some value, but I want it nice. Or are you a value person that, hey, listen, I don't want to spend a whole bunch of money. I want to get the most bang for my buck. I kind of fall into that mid-tier range. I'm not gonna spend to have the best of the best, but I also don't want the biggest bang for your buck. I'm kind of middle of the road. Choose what's right for you, and I'll tell you, there's no bad new boats on the market right now. So once you find that tier that you're right, figure out the model. So I like fishing, I like the lounges, I like whatever. And then go to the best dealer in your area. So I wouldn't say, hey, go buy a Harris. Harris is the right choice. I would say, if you're a top tier person, go look at the Barletta, the Bennington, the Harris, the Crest, the Premier, all the Manitou, all of those in that category. Find the 2 or 3 that you like the best, the layouts, the colors, the whatever, and then research the dealer. Because the dealer is the one that's going to have the biggest impact, because if you have a warranty issue, it's going to go through the dealer. And some dealers are great. Some dealers are okay. And some dealers just suck and shouldn't be in business. I don't want you to buy the best boat from a crappy dealer. I want you to buy the right tier from the best dealer in your market area. And I say in your area because I think it's important to have a local relationship for boating. You're going to have questions, it's just going to be helpful to have that local connection. So that's my advice if you're looking new. Now, if you're looking used, say, hey, well, what brand should I get? I get this question all the time on the channel is, I'm looking at this 1983 whatever, is that a good boat? And after about 3 or 5 years, how the actual boat that you're looking at has been maintained and treated is more important than the manufacturer. So I would take a value boat that has just been babied and treated well over a top of the line luxury boat that's been beaten to crap. You're going to have a better experience that way. So it's not so much, still, you can go by those tiers. They change over time. So 10 years ago, some of the manufacturers built better boats than they do today and worse boats than they do today, depending on who it is. But it's more about the actual boat that you're looking at than it is about the brand, okay? So that's on the used side. Now, you may say, Matt, you didn't talk about outboards. You didn't talk about power. Here's my recommendation on power. On the new side, whoever you're buying the boat from, try to go with the power option that they sell the most of, that they have the most certified techs in, that they are most often working on. Because what that is going to mean is, if you have something going on with your engine, they're going to have more people that could potentially work, and they don't have one Honda person and 5 Yamaha techs, and you've got to wait till the Honda tech comes available. The Honda guy only sees 5 Hondas a year, but he sees 100 Yamahas a year, or probably a month with those numbers. But so that's how I would choose my motor package. Obviously, Evinrude's not making them anymore. Manitou had the Evinrude. They were owned by the same company, by BRP. They're no longer available. They struck a deal with Mercury, I believe. They struck a deal with somebody. I think it was Mercury. But if you're going used, same thing. Find who your technician's going to be, somebody that has availability, somebody that you click with, and then say, I'm looking at a boat. What outboard do you recommend? Just make sure that you have somebody that specializes in that motor type before you buy it. Because if you get a Suzuki and there's no Suzuki technicians that are nearby that have capacity to you, you're going to be in a world of hurt when you need to diagnose a problem and they don't know anything about Suzuki. They don't have Suzuki computer, the diagnostic computer. Each manufacturer has their own software. They don't have that software. They don't have some of the specialized tools and knowledge that goes with working on these motors over and over, and they're just enough different that it can cause an issue. So if that's your situation, get the right motor for the package, especially some of them that, hey, you can order any of the 3 or 4 options that they offer. Go with the one that they have the most technicians, that are the most experienced, that work on them the most, that you see in their service yard. That's the motor I would go with, and you're going to be in good shape. So if you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button. We're always doing videos like this. If you are thinking of buying a boat, you can grab that U.S. Boat Expo 7-day pass. I interviewed 20 experts in the industry. It's a wealth of knowledge that you just haven't had access to until now. If you're buying a boat or just owned a boat and you want be a little bit better about operating it, check out the bestboatcaptainonthewater.com. It's an awesome program. YouTube's recommended some videos for you. Hit that thumbs up, and remember, life truly is better on a boat.